Hi, good evening. I'm Shaun Custis. I'm Director of Sport at the Sun, and I want to welcome all of you Sun Club members to our very special World Cup preview night. If you've been to one of these shows before, you'll know you're in for a treat. We've got a fantastic panel for you. And as loyal Sun readers and viewers, you'll also know you'll get the best print, most comprehensive coverage on video, online, and in print throughout the tournament. And you've got your Sun goodies on your seat tonight already, bucket hat, wall chart, magazine guide, all produced by us to make your World Cup even better. Before I go on, thank yous are due to Nathan McPherson and our outstanding events team for helping to organise tonight's show. Yeah, all right, enough. So, no messing around, let's get straight into it. First up on stage is a man who played with 3 World Cup winners from England's 1966 team. He's also the greatest manager the Three Lions never had. He is, of course, the legendary King of the Jungle, Harry Redknapp.
Thank you.
Next up, he's one of Scotland's all-time greats who represented the national team 50 times. He went to the 86 World Cup in Mexico and he managed his national team for 4 years. He's the Scotland expert for the Sun this summer. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Gordon Strachan.
Aye.
I think you might be able to identify your seat, Gordon.
Give me my heart here. Yeah.
And finally, what a signing we've made here. He played 96 times for England. He was a stalwart of the last 2 World Cups, reaching the semi-final in 2018, and he's widely acknowledged as one of the quickest players this country has ever had. But we've caught up with him, and he will be the Sun's star columnist for this summer's World Cup. He's the brilliant Kyle Walker. Thank you. We're actually reuniting teacher and pupil here because Harry used to be Kyle's boss at Spurs, and in fact, I think you rate him as one of your greatest signings ever, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah.
Why was that?
Still the best right back in England, in my opinion.
Kyle, you shouldn't have retired.
No.
If the gaffer was the manager, I'd be all right then, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
So what was Harry like as a boss then?
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Obviously, to take me from Sheffield United and give me the chance in the Premier League, I owe it truly down to him. So thank you. If you hadn't heard it before, thank you now.
Yeah. No, I signed 2 right backs. Actually, a mate of mine, Sam Ellis, was working at Sheffield United doing a bit, and he said, "There's 2 kids here. They're fantastic. You've got to take them." But they were both right backs. So, but he said that, both Kyle could play centre. He said he could play at the back, or and Kyle Norton could play on the left if we had to. So we took the pair of them, and they were, obviously for Tottenham, they turned out 2 amazing signings.
You never lose that respect between the two of you. When Kyle turned up tonight and saw Harry, Gaffer, you're all right, isn't it? You sort of revere all your old club bosses?
Of course, because they've all played a small part in getting me to where I've been in my career. Each and every one of them, whether that was, Harry when it first started, or Kevin Blackwell and Neil Warnock at Sheffield United. Everyone plays a small part in your career to get you to where you want to be, which is ultimately at the top.
Gordon, great to see you again after you were such a hit at your 2024 show that we did. I mean, you were no slouch on a football field. How do you think you'd have gone on against Kyle Walker?
Oh no, no, it was wasting my time. I was quite an intelligent player, I'll tell you. I knew where to go.
Gordon was a fantastic player.
I knew where to go. I knew how to take on, and I knew my strengths and weaknesses. It's the same when you play against Stuart Pearce. When Sir Alex wanted me to play up against him, and I went, no. This is too dangerous, because it was like going to the dentist. You knew there was pain coming sometimes, but you weren't sure when it was. So I actually invented playing between the lines before anybody else.
It was basically because I kept away from him. So Alex would get yourself against him. I went, no, shit scared of him. I'm going to play in there somewhere. So I invented playing between the lines before anybody else. I was way ahead of my time, only because I was shit scared of Stuart Pearce.
Brilliant.
Would you ever have got to have seen Gordon play?
No, I don't.
No,
think I did.
no.
I'm so sorry about that.
Do you want to know all about it?
Yeah, come on then. We'll leave these alone. We'll talk.
Anyway, World Cup kicks off on June 11th. There's 48 teams in it, including England and Scotland.
I was a bit surprised about that.
Yeah, well, they had to make it 48 to get
It was
Scotland
like a case
in
of
it.
like and Andorra. No, we're actually all right.
But, you know, we had to get Scotland in it somehow. It's been a long time, and they've got there, so might be coming home early, but we'll get into that a little later on. Kyle, tell us what it's like going away to the big tournaments. You know, when you come to the end of the club season, is it getting towards that tournament? Are you thinking about it? Can you not help it, or are you able to put it out of your mind?
For me, it was only always the next game. So I honestly didn't really think about the tournament until the tournament got announced. And I think that's important, you know, for the footballers that have had the lucky chance to get onto the plane now. It's okay, now we've got to think about England. They've been in Premier League title, winning seasons and stuff like that, Champions League finals. But I think now it's about England. And I think that's what we want as a country, is for England to go and do well in this.
Do you always know when they're coming to name the squad for the World Cup? You went to a lot of tournaments. Were you always confident you'd be in it, or is there always still a nervousness till he tells you your name's in it?
I think there's always still a nervousness. I think if you're playing well for your club, then you know you're in with a good shot. But nothing's confirmed until you receive that text message. And when you get that text message, it's the biggest relief of your life, and then it normally comes out into the media or into the world within the next, half an hour to an hour.
We hear a lot about preparations for all the various teams, how hot it's been, how you're going to have to acclimatise. Can you tell us a bit about what it's like in camp, the type of preparations you need before you start? You famously had the inflatable unicorns with Gareth Southgate in the swimming pool.
Yeah, I think when you're in the tournament, it's a lot. There's a lot of downtime. I think obviously you're training for an hour and a half on the football field, and you might do a gym session, but all in all, you're probably wrapped up by 1 or 2. And then it's until the next day you're doing the same thing again. And it's about filling that time in between, whether you're missing your family and friends, and just keeping entertained. And I feel that's what we probably got the grasp of after the Russia camp, is that we could always knock on each other's room, we could always have a conversation with each other, people would be downstairs having coffees together, and I think that's what brings the togetherness out. And I feel going to a tournament or into a major competition like the World Cup, you need to make sure that the camaraderie is together, and I think England, well, when I left it was good.
But famously, some of the old guard from the 2000s, the golden generation, have said they were cliques. They didn't mix together. They had club rivalries. They couldn't put apart, and that probably hampered England. You're saying it didn't happen when you were in those squads.
No, listen, there's always a bit of friendly banter. If you've won the league, you get the bragging rights. So there's always a little bit of friendly banter, but also in a way that you can't have cliques. You're here to represent your country. And that's what you need to leave them, the egos, the disagreements, even if it's arguments that you've had on the week before on a Saturday, you leave them at the door. And all of a sudden now we're here with our England hat on, and we're going to do the best for our country.
Harry, we've got the German boss and Thomas Tuchel. You nearly got the England job.
I thought you said I nearly got in trouble over talking to you.
Yeah.
We won't go there. Huh?
We thought you were going to get the job at the time, but there was still an Englishman in charge. I think you're a bit of a traditionalist.
Yeah.
You're not really one for the foreign boss, are you?
Not really, no. No, I'll be truthful. I'd like to see an Englishman manage England. I would really, but not easy at the moment. I mean, there's not an awful lot of candidates about. Eddie Howe would probably have, would have been one. But listen, whoever manages England, I want to see us win the World Cup for sure. But if I had my choice, I would like. We have all the coaching courses. We have young managers coaching in lower divisions. They don't get the opportunity to manage big clubs. Whenever there's a big job comes available at the top level in the Premier League, nearly always goes to a foreign manager. I just don't think, for whatever reason, we just don't give British managers the opportunity. to manage big clubs, and if they manage a big club, the chance then to go on and become a national team manager.
Gordon, am I right in thinking, no, Scotland hasn't always had a Scottish manager, because of course Bertie Vogts was manager of Scotland as well. You manage Scotland, the current manager is a Scot. Do you think it's important to have a Scottish identity as a Scottish manager?
Well, it's called the English team and the Scottish team. So
No, but you agree with that it should be
oh,
like that?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's an affinity there with the players, but you've also got to love the country as well and get a part of it, you know. And the good thing about being the Scotland manager, or even England's manager, but especially the Scottish manager, you have the ability to make the whole country happy, and you're one of them, you know. So, but also you've got the ability to make the whole of Scotland unhappy, which I did quite a few times. But you've got that, and I think there has to be that affinity. I really think there's enough talent out there, and it's not that cosmic, by the way, to be a manager in England. It's not that cosmic. You bring the best players together.
Of course.
Bring the best players together, you sit them again and go, what's the best system for all my good players here?
Yeah.
It's so simple.
It is so simple.
It's different if you've got a Guardiola who's got to change the whole culture of a football club, and he has to work with them day in, day out. You cannot do that with an England team. You bring your best player together, because I'm not going to change him for being out attacking right back or somebody else or do something. I'm going to bring the best of them together, play a system, work at it, and then get on with it. It's not that cosmic. People nowadays try and tell you that it's so cosmic. It's no. It's propaganda. Yeah. And also people like to listen to a foreign language, don't they? Because it sounds far more intelligent. You know what I mean? It's even like Eric Cantona when he talks about seagulls and things like that. He's a philosopher. He's a philosopher. If he was in Scotland, he'd be Rabsy Nisbet. You know? So the women fall in love with this, but you as journalists fall in love with these foreign voices because they're saying things. But it's the same thing he does, but simplifies it. Alex Ferguson was simplifying. Jock Stein, all these great guys, would simplify the job. It's quite simple.
Yeah.
If it was Jock Stein, Carl, what you doing? So, well, all you do is run fast, get up there, make crosses, and run back very quickly. That's your job. You got that? Fine. Nothing complicated about that. So we're actually getting conned sometimes. There is great ones out there, but there's good ones in England as well.
Absolutely.
Do you?
He's agreeing with me.
Absolutely.
Do you think it's basically a simple job being England manager?
Yeah, I do really. Yeah.
Well, literally, Kyle Walker, you get
Yeah,
on the ball,
listen,
off you go down the cross.
if you can't pick the best right back, well, you pick him because you know what his strengths are and play to his strengths, and you balance the team up, But the great managers is Alex Ferguson, and Alex wouldn't have been a super coach, would he? He was a football man. He understood the game. He put you in the right positions. He knew a good player when he saw one. Brian Clough, I'm sure, would have been the same. He was just had to get the best out of people, and that's what it's about. And you've got the pick of the best players. England's got so much talent. Put them in the right positions. Don't go to a tournament and suddenly try to play Trent in midfield when he's played right back all his life at Liverpool,
It's like going back to Amarin at Man United. He comes in, he wants to play this system, plays 3 centre-backs, and he's getting rid of wingers everywhere. No, the rest of it. So, that didn't suit them. The England squad, you just bring them in, play the best players, play the best system that suits them. So you get managers with systems in their heads. It's not about systems. Everybody plays a different system. But there's no guaranteed system. What guarantees you is great players with great character, great resilience, technique, and good teammates. That is it.
Absolutely, Gordon. You are so right.
So it's nice and simple, then, Carl. You played internationally. You played for Gareth Southgate, and you played for Tuchel in his first game against Albania. You started for him. What was it like, the contrast between those two managers?
I think it's always going to be different. Everyone has their philosophies and how they want to play the game of football. I do have to agree with the gaffer and Gordon that it's right. You have good players in good areas and they just do the talking. I look back on, our Tottenham team and we were just a group of good players. And was the gaffer really big on a lot of coaching? He gave us good information in good areas that we needed to know. But he let Luca and Gareth Bale probably go and do their thing, and 9 times out of 10 it went and worked. I think the modern game now is a little bit different. where there has to be some sort of tactic involved because it's like a chess game and people are trying to work each other out. But ultimately, players win football matches. You know, you have to take into the emotion of the pitch, the emotion of the ground, the fans around you, but also grab that emotion as well and use that to your advantage.
But much was made when Gareth Southgate came in about how he brought the team together, how he got the team to love the country, to love the team, how he, let's be honest, built bridges with the media so that you liked talking to us, you were comfortable in that environment. Were you sceptical of that approach at first?
Of course, because after the tournament that we went in France where we lost to Iceland, we was public enemy number one and we couldn't do anything right. But we also let the country down and we knew that. But first and foremost, we knew that ourselves. And Gareth, I'm going to say, had a quite simple job because there was good players and we just needed to connect together. And as soon as we connected together off the field, our football went and done the talking. Was we playing expansive football? Probably not. You know, I look at Russia, was we a full-out attacking team? No, we was mainly a set-piece team that we had Harry Maguire that went and got his head on most things, as Harry does, and Harry Kane scored a lot of penalties. But we still got to a semi-final of a World Cup, and if we went on and won it, no one would have said, well, we didn't play great football. We'd say, well, we're the world champions now.
What was the pressure like going from that 2016 team then as you're heading for a World Cup in 2018 with so much to prove? I mean, you kind of felt lower than after 2016.
Well, you had to take it as a positive, really. That it couldn't get any worse. It actually couldn't get any worse. And as we said, we was building the bridges with the media where they was kind of on our backs now and kind of helping us and supporting us. And I think I can remember definitely one thing that I really appreciated about that tournament is there was no expectation because we was a young group coming through, kind of the old guard went and there was a new generation of us coming through. We kind of just went and played football. And look, you know, unfortunately we didn't beat Belgium in the third place playoff, but we stayed there for the full duration of the tournament and seen a lot of, you know, videos on Instagram with people chucking themselves in canals and stuff.
I'm just the camera back there, just waiting. You're right.
Gordon, when it came to preparing your Scotland team and you get them all together, and what is your compare it to being a club manager, because they're not people you see every day. They're people who pop in, say hello, and then they go back to their clubs, and they don't have to worry about you.
It's completely different. And I would speak to a lot of people about this. The Scotland players turn up, and they don't get paid. They don't get paid. They only get paid if you qualify for a World Cup or something like that. So you turn up, and you leave your missus for 2 weeks and leave the 3 kids behind and go and disappear for nothing. There's no other job in the world you would do that. Seriously. Imagine if one of you guys went away, disappeared for 2 weeks and said, "Mister, look at the 3 kids." And yeah, you're right, I've seen your missus. But you really shouldn't. The England players and Scottish players should never get criticised by the media. Never. Never. Because they're doing it because they want to win things for their families, their friends, anybody that wants to get. They're not doing it for money. Never should they be criticised. They're doing it because they want to do it for England or Scotland. Right? The only person you could actually criticise who's getting a full-time wage is the manager. And that's what happened with me at Scotland. I understand. I was on the full-time one there. The rest, you should leave them alone. There's a difference between an international manager and a club manager. As a club manager, if we're paying you X amount of money and loads of money, I can demand of you. I demand you do it. You must do it or you're not getting a game. International level, I'm going to ask you to do it. It's a different thing altogether. You're coming along and I cannot demand and scream and shout at you like some managers do, like Conte was doing. I cannot do that because you're doing it for nothing. You're doing it because you want to do it for your country. So, as a manager, I couldn't do that. Because would you criticise your players? Like, you seriously? They're turning up for nothing. And you want me to criticise players? No chance. You ask them. And that's the big difference. You demand as a club manager, you ask as an international manager for these things.
Harry, you've actually had a bit of experience being an international manager, haven't you? So we did have a foreign manager involved with it. It was Jordan trying to qualify for the World Cup. What was that experience like? I mean, these are players you don't know at all, and you walk in there and say, right, I'm going to help you try and get you to qualify for the World Cup.
Well, it was different because they didn't. Not one of them spoke English, and it was a problem. So, which might have been a help to them. I don't know. They couldn't understand me anyway. So, but no, it was. I only went for 2 games. You know, I agreed to go to take the Jordan national team. Prince Ali rang me up, who I'd met, and said, "Would you come and do 2 games?" Which I did, and went over and managed the game against Bangladesh, who we beat 9-0. I thought, Harry, you're a genius. You've turned, Bangladesh. Well, I must admit, I upset their manager at the end when I said to him, I think you're better at cricket. But then we went to Australia and played, and Ange was, Postecoglou was the manager of the Australian team, and they beat us something 4-1 in Sydney. But no, it was a good experience. I enjoyed it, but it was only short term. It was only a few weeks,
But you've been a club manager for so many times, and you saw the differences of that. Do you think you would happily have adapted to being the England manager?
Yeah, for sure. I did. As Gordon said, I think it's, the group of players you've got to choose from in this country as well. With lots of, especially going back, 8, 9, 10 years. That group, there was some fantastic. I think it was a very, very strong group of players. And going back before that, we've had so many almost false dawns, really, I think, with England teams, with the Gerrard and Lampard era and that group, and then, the Sol Campbells and John Terry's, Rio Ferdinand's, incredible players.
Well, why didn't it work then?
I don't know,
you must
really.
talk to Frank about it. It's your nephew. Maybe you've chatted about it occasionally about why.
Yeah, I don't know. When you looked at it, really, it was a group that should have won something, wasn't it, really? It was so much talent. Stuart Pearce, I heard Pearcey talking the other day about, the groups that he played in, amazing players, But, so maybe I don't think that this group of players is as good as some of the groups in recent years, but maybe they'll gel together and maybe we will win a championship, win the World Cup with a group that I don't think are as good as what we've had. We couldn't do it with the other lads.
You'd be pleased about that, Gordon.
I'll be delighted.
Okay, we're going to have a look now at a clip from our award-winning Tactics Exposed show, in which our tactics guru Dean Scoggins picks his England team.
England are looking to end 60 years of World Cup hurt across the pond this summer, and me and Dino will be on the ground filming 20 episodes of Tactics Exposed and Team Talk live from New York City throughout the tournament. So Dino, tell us the question that everyone wants to know the answer to. How is Thomas Tuchel going to bring it home finally?
Yeah, sorry I can't be there with you tonight, but here's your Sun Club exclusive of Tactics Exposed of how we think they're going to line up. I'm going to start obviously with Pickford in goal. I want Reece James here if he's fit at right back. John Stones at right centre back if he can get a game for City in the last few weeks of the season. Mark Gahey, Nico O'Reilly. I'm going Declan Rice as a single pivot because I want England to go for it, which means you get Eberechi Eze and Jude Bellingham in that team with Bukayo Saka one side, Marcus Rashford as the other for your pace, and obviously Harry Kane up front. However, will Thomas Tuchel be able to move them into that shape?
Fair enough, Dino. And do not forget that they're not the only British team going to the World Cup this summer. Scotland, apparently, I haven't heard it from any of them, but apparently they qualified for the tournament for the first time in a while. Are they going to do anything?
Well, you'd think, Gordon will know this better than me, but you'd think that Scotland would be a more defensive, tight unit, but they don't actually look as good defensively as they have done previously. So maybe it is unleash McTominay and go for it from Scotland in that group. Might be a bit more difficult against Brazil, perhaps. But yeah, go for it rather than sit back. We've seen too much pragmatic football over the last 12 to 18 months. Let's see some PSG-style attacking football from these international teams.
So, is he finished?
Yes, yeah.
He is. Right. So, there'll be 20 episodes of our award-winning show throughout the tournament as well. We'll also have a proper football daily show on the Sun's YouTube channel, which you'll be able to watch every day, and various other video offerings. But that particular show has become really, really popular in this country. Dean's a bit of a tactics expert, and the team he's picked there, as you can say, Pickford in goal, James, Stones, Gay, O'Reilly, Rice as a holding player, Eze Bellingham just ahead. Then a front three of Saka, Kane, Rashford. Who better to start with? Kyle, what do you think? Is that your team? Would you be happy putting that lot out in that formation?
I think he's got options, and I think that's the best thing that you can have in tournaments. I think it's not always the players that start the first game will finish the last game. You know, I look back at Ollie Watkins coming on against Netherlands and probably not having a lot of minutes, and then comes and scores a crucial goal to get us to the final. So it's an array of talent. As the gaffer said, that we've been very spoilt over the years here to have so many great players, but none of us have really crossed the line. So hopefully this group of players can go and do it. But I think whatever team you pick there, it's going to be a very good team.
What about personnel-wise? Is that as strong as you can get it, do you think?
You're probably missing. Listen, I really like Phil Foden. I've played with him for 8 years, but he's not on the plane. The players that the manager's picked, he's had the tough decision in picking 26 players to go onto that plane, and you know we have to trust in him that that's the right one that he's seen. And as we've just said there, it's not just about on the field, it's also off the field. So other people could be gelling that team together and making sure that we can go and ultimately achieve what we want to achieve come the end of it. But there's players there, you know, like Elliot Anderson, who's had a fantastic year. Declan Rice, again, I think Anderson, that I've grown up with him from, you know, under 19s level. I know what he brings, you know, not just on the field, but also off the field as well. And the forwards speak for itself. You know, there's Saks, Harry Kane, Rashford, Anthony Gordon, who's just got a big money move to Barcelona. There's enough quality there to really go and hurt teams.
You talked about Foden there, and obviously you know him really, really well, and he's a supreme talent. But he's suffered from the too many good players in his position, not just with England, but also at City as well, hasn't he?
It's football, and what do you do? Sulk and cry in the corner or work harder? I think that in life there's always setbacks. There's always setbacks, and especially in football, that you're going to have disappointment throughout your career in some place or shape or form. And it's about how Phil bounces back now. You can't affect that, that's gone. You just need to make sure that come the start of the new season, you know, whoever the manager will be for Manchester City now that Pep's left, he puts his best foot forward and, you know, make sure that he's the first name on the team sheet.
Do players sit around saying, "Oh, I don't like this formation. He shouldn't have gone with one holding. He should have played three in the middle." I mean, you've played three at the back, five at the back, four-man defence. Do players really care too much about that?
I'd be lying if we say we don't talk about it. We're all the best managers, aren't we? We've all played Football Manager, and we all know what the best team is. And you might think a player that you play with in training that you really like is the best player, and why is he not playing, how is he not playing? And ultimately we always point the finger at the manager. It's his fault, you know, he makes the decisions, but ultimately he's doing what's best for the team and he's doing what's best for the country. So our opinion is completely irrelevant, as I've known under Pep that he doesn't actually care what we think. The manager does his job and makes sure that, you know, he puts the best team going out there onto whatever day it may be.
We digress slightly there, but does Pep never ask players' opinions or anything like that?
He doesn't care of people's opinions. It's his way or no way.
Whereas Southgate?
I think Gareth for me was unbelievable. I had the joy of obviously playing under Capello, Hodgson, Sam Allardyce for one game. Gareth and Thomas. And Gareth, for me, he changed the way that people looked at English football. I feel that what he's done is probably not going to be appreciated until a few years' time now. I hope this group of men go to the tournament and do really well. But to get to 2 European Championship finals, a semi-final of a World Cup, and probably, I think, unfortunately, being knocked out by France in Qatar, I thought that we actually played well. And it was very rare that Harry Kane misses a penalty, and on that day decided to miss a penalty. But things happen in football. But for me, Gareth was unbelievable. He was such a good manager and such a good person as well.
Harry, we talked a bit about this team here. When you look at it, are you thinking, yep, that's a World Cup challenging team, let's say, because you've said you're not sure that this team is necessarily capable of winning it, but is that...
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very open tournament, Shaun. You know, I couldn't really nail my colours to the mask of any any country in this tournament this time. In years gone by, you've looked, and going back in time, you'd look at the great Brazil team, or you'd look at, the Argentinian team when they, won it, and you thought they'd have a big chance at home. And, this is a very open tournament. It's difficult to pick a really outstanding team. France, Spain they'll be challenging. Portugal, I think, have got fantastic players. Whether they can put it all together, I think it's a decent team. I'm a Phil Foden fan.
Why do you think he's left him out? I mean, you can't pick every number 10.
I'm a Palmer fan as well.
Yeah, but you can't get them all in.
Well, you can. You can leave one or two of them out. It's
Well,
quite
if you leave out
easy, It's quite easy, really. I'm a Harry Maguire fan, to be honest. I think Harry's great in both boxes. He can score for you as well and set plays. And I think I don't know him, but he looks to me like a real good type of guy. Good lead, good person to have with you on your side. And I like him. He's a proper old... And Bowen could have easily made it, at West Ham. So, there's play. I certainly could have...
You would have picked a very different squad.
I'd have picked a few different players, but that's why it's a game of opinions, and the only one that matters is Tuchel's opinion. That's the one that's going to count. Hopefully he's picked the best team. I'm not sure, in my honest opinion, the back four is good enough to win a World Cup. I hope I'm proved wrong. I think John Stones. I'm a massive John Stones fan. I've always thought he was. What a class player. But unfortunately, he can't keep fit, and he hasn't played many games this year.
But he's in the squad.
He's in the squad. If he's fit and stays fit, what a player. I just think he's top drawer. But we're taking a massive gamble that he's going to be fit or not. We don't know. Dan Burns, I'm a Dan Burns fan. What a great character. How well has he done? But yourself, end of the season, I'll probably know more about Newcastle than me. I don't think he's had a great second half of the season.
I was surprised he was picked out of Maguire.
To what he's done. Jed Spence has not been getting in the team at Tottenham, really.
you wouldn't pick much of this squad.
The two fullbacks at Tottenham have been, of keeping him, Porra and Doggy are keeping him out of the team most of the time. So, it's a gamble. Reece James has had his injury problems, I'd still have Kyle Walker at right back. I would, no. I swear to God, not because he's sitting here. I don't give a monkeys. I'm not trying to. I've got no reason to be. He don't need me. He wouldn't have to pay me anything. And if I didn't think he was the man, I wouldn't be saying it. He's still the best right back in the country. That's my opinion.
Kyle, did you actually have to retire, or did it come after a discussion with Tuchel about whether you would have a chance of going to this World Cup?
No, I tried. I tried having conversations with Thomas and also with John McDermott that I knew from Tottenham for all them years, and there was a few not answered phone calls and stuff like that, and it was just kind of, for me, it was, if Gareth was the manager, I would have let Gareth retire me. I feel that he gave me most of my caps, and he had the honour of doing that. But I just kind of got the gist of it from when the squads were picked and I was left out of a couple of them, that I wasn't going to make it to 100. I really wanted to make it to 100 caps. To say that I was in that few number to make it to 100 caps would have been a great honour for me. But sometimes, like I just said before in the previous answer, football is cruel. Sometimes you don't always get what you want, and I kind of to take the decision into my own hands. He did ask me if I wanted to wait until after, until he's done his list, but I kind of thought, well, if a couple of people get injured, this, that and the other, you're just going to call on me to basically, come on, Kyle, jump on the plane. You wasn't really my first, second or third choice, but you can come on the plane now.
So if he'd said, I just might want you, just stick with it, might you maybe? Because
it's difficult. It's difficult. I think, as Gordon just said there, I'm doing it because of the love of my country. I'm doing it for that reason and that reason only. And to go and represent my country at a World Cup in America would be fantastic. But I'm also realistic. And when I can see that that dream might not be possible, I'd rather take that decision into my own hands and kind of call it there.
Gordon, I promise you we'll get around to Scotland in a minute, but what do you think of this England team that was picked there, and what about the strength of the squad?
Right, I'll have to look at it, I suppose. Yeah, listen, we all think the same. There's some great players in there who have not done enough this season to be in the World Cup squad, I think. You know, I think there's terrific players. John Stone's terrific, you played him, playing a position, but being injured, you've got to take a chance and going out there in the heat and the humidity when you get hamstring strains and all the rest of it. Spencer didn't get a game for Spurs at the end, really. So you're talking at a crisis time. When you're looking for a crisis where you've got to pick the guys your life depends on, the manager never picked Spence. So you've got the World Cup and you pick Spence. It's very strange, you know. So I find that strange. I do think that there should have been place in there, and you don't have to have one sitting midfield. Depends which way you watch. We can't see what he's seeing at the moment too, Shaun. You can't see it. We cannot see what his vision is. You know, Elliot Anderson's been as good as anybody. Declan Rice, both of them should tell you how do you get them in there. What if people are going to a kind of 4-4-1-1 now or a 4-4-2? I've been looking at international football. It seems that you can get back to that. It doesn't mean you say you've got two wingers out there. Scotland narrow their midfield. You know, Bellingham in behind Kane. That sounds great. You know, Palmer.
Yeah.
He could have been the 10 as well. You know, you've got a lot of 10s, and he'll pick Rodgers. He loves him. So you'll get Kane, Rodgers, another 4 in there. But I think it's strange that people who have no really the top players, but not proven themselves this year because of injuries and form. You know.
Kyle, when you were at City playing with Palmer and Foden, you could never have imagined that they would not have been at this World Cup.
Do you think they get left out? They get a game for Italy and France. These guys will get played for.
Yeah.
You know. So I find it very strange that they can't get in this squad.
Yeah, but as you say, you've got to leave.
And even
you can only pick
Rashford, you know.
Yeah.
And even Rashford, he's only getting on and off for Barcelona.
Yeah.
It's not like he's playing wonderful football. There's only glimpses of him taking free kicks. And if you can't score for Barcelona, you're not going to score for anybody, are they? Let's be fair. So I find that strange as well. Where there's other people playing. Like Bowen at West Ham, fantastic. You know, when the going gets tough, he was there all the time, that fella. And I think he's done enough to be in that squad as well.
Cole Palmer, who you played with, and obviously he left Man City to go to Chelsea, but he kicked on, he did brilliantly for Chelsea, and frankly the way he started the season, finished last, you thought, well, he's definitely going.
Yeah, but listen, things happen, and I think Cole will be the first one to say to you that his probably form hasn't been good enough to get him on that pit. I'd probably have took, Morgan Gibbs-White, being fantastic for Forest. So there's a number of players, like we've all got different opinions on everything, and we all can say, well, this player shouldn't be going, this player that player should be going. But I come back to the defence, and I do think there's a lot there that have probably not played too great or are carrying injuries that can you completely rely on throughout the stretch of the tournament. And that's where I probably question just some of them, but I'm not the manager.
But you've played with John Stones, as Harry says, he's an absolutely brilliant player when fit. You'll have seen him go through some of those injury agonies and the frustrations that he has. But when he is fit, he's a definite...
Yeah, of course. Look, John's a great player, and you can see that throughout the number of years that I've played with him. John will be the first one to admit that he's had a lot of injuries. But I can assure you that there's no one I've seen that works harder than him in the gym to make sure that he tries and prevents him. I played with, and I did play a joy of playing with Ledley. He would not have wanted to be injured. What a great player he would have been for many years, but his knees couldn't hack it. And sometimes that's just your body just letting you know, and pulling up on you. You don't really want to. You think you can still do it, but sometimes it's just life. It's just life. But I do also agree that sometimes you do need people that have been there before and done it and wore the T-shirt and that have been in the trenches with you.
Reece James is another one, isn't he? I mean, what a good player. But look at how many games has he played again this year? He picks up injuries to kid, doesn't he? Not for his own, he can't help it. It's not his fault, but
a fit
will he
Reece James
will he
is
stay
the
fit?
best right back in the world for me.
Is that James?
Yeah, a fit Reece James is the best right back in the world.
Will he stay fit for a tournament?
But isn't there something to be said for the fact he hasn't played very much this season? He's just becoming fit now, and so he'll be quite fresh going into a World Cup. Do you go for people who play too many games so they'll be knackered when they go to the World Cup?
You've definitely got a point. Sometimes when you get back and start playing consistently, maybe 2 months before the World Cup, then you're right on. You're really up for it. It's different if you're injured to the last game of the season. That's a problem. It's different if you get two months, maybe 8 or 9 games in, and you're there. But try to bring yourself up to speed because you're not playing. Then you have this. Then you have the break here now. Then you play friendlies. I don't know, Kyle said it, that's it. Friendlies, we're no interest in them as football players. We're not interested in them. As managers, we just say, okay, we'll play this, let's get out of here. Don't get injured. So we don't take that very serious. So it'll not be 100% when you play your friendlies. Whoever you're playing against, you'll need to remind me.
Are you not interested in friendlies when you play friendlies?
Absolutely. No, they were horrible, weren't they?
Yeah,
you just smiled and thought, I look like I'm trying.
Yeah, I feel always on a friendly, you're always thinking about not getting injured. It's representing your country, of course, but if you've got a major tournament coming up and you've got to go out and roll out against a team that doesn't mean anything, well, that one game there could finish my tournament, and I want to go and represent.
But with competitive animals,
yeah,
and they're not competitive. It's the only time we come alive is when it's competitive. It's the same as a manager. We're the same. At friendlies pre-season, I used to turn up. The players would guess that I wasn't interested, and they get the vibe for it as well. But as a player, I was the same. I hated friendlies. I mean, hated them. I actually said, "Don't take me anywhere. Don't let me in a friendly." I played 890 odd games. I got sent off once, right, in competitive games. I got sent off 5 times in friendlies. I just wanted to get off the pitch.
But the big change as well, Shaun. Back in the day, you had to be playing. You had to be a player that was playing in your team to get in the England team. You had to be a top player playing week. A lot of these players now don't get a game. They don't get a game. You go through them, They're not in their teams at the clubs that they play for. They can't get in the Arsenal team, or they can't maybe play regular at Brentford, or they can't. There's an awful lot of them are not playing on a regular basis, and you think suddenly they're in the England team, which is a big change in how things work.
But he put some store on Tuchel about having what you call a good tourist, somebody knows the game, knows
good
what it's
tourist.
like to go to a tournament. That's what I'm just saying that's what he feels. Somebody like Jordan Henderson is that sort of person.
Well, Jordan Henderson has been a fantastic player. What a great pro, Liverpool. But, Jordan has his career as, he's gone to Saudi, he's gone to Ajax. And,
You wouldn't pick him then?
Well, I like him a lot. I mean, I do. I couldn't say anything bad about him. He looks a great lad, great pro. Been a fantastic captain. Liverpool win a championship, win the Premier League. But looking at it at the moment, there's too many players there. I don't see getting a game regular at their football clubs who are playing suddenly they're in England. But the kid at Arsenal. He comes on a sub again at Arsenal.
I think as well, players don't get tired. I hear a lot of players burn out and this, that and the other. You don't get tired as a player.
You've never felt tired going into a tournament?
No, not really, no. I don't think I can say I did. I felt that, mentally you're tired, but you're physically not tired. I feel that you go into autopilot, and if your head's telling your legs that you can run, you will be able to run. Obviously, there's certain dimensions in the game that you could be having a tough 5 minutes and all of a sudden you've lost that player. You need to pick him back up. But physically, to represent, you're representing your country at a major tournament. Any boy would dream of doing that. Boy or girl would dream of doing that. Now you're going to tell me you're tired on the pitch while you represent your country? I don't believe it.
No.
I don't believe it.
So if the manager or coach comes up to you and said, "Oh, we've analysed the stats. You're in, the red zone. We think we've got to rest you." You just tell them to.
I
sod
don't
off,
believe in
basically.
red zones and
You
stuff.
don't really?
No. What's a red zone?
Well,
Tell me. I don't understand
the
what
gurus, the trainers, and
the gurus.
coaches.
Some gurus have never kicked a football, so don't tell me about a red zone.
So nobody could tell you you're tired.
No,
have rest.
No.
Only him.
Only me.
Quite
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Only
Myself.
Only
I can't-
yourself.
No one, data can't tell me I'm tired.
Data can tell you might feel tired sometimes, but because you push yourself, what happens nowadays at 19, 20, that's your maximum. He's a far fitter player when he was 32 and he was 19.
Correct.
Because he pushed himself to the next level. And I was a bit like that. I kept pushing myself to the next level. You never heard anybody say that's your zone. It's a red one. I want to go to the purple one. See what it's like up there. And drive yourself again and again and again. You can take yourself on. When you're doing that, you're not only working physical side, but you're working the mental side to understand what pain is to go through, what is dry, and you've been to this horrible thing where you can't run again, but you can find another one.
Yep.
And that's what he's saying. But today we've got too many sports scientists to tell you what you cannot and cannot do. I know a club that has a sports science who doesn't go to the games, but phones the manager up after 60 minutes and tells him to take the players off because he's watching on TV. How mental is that? Take him off. Where are you? I'm sitting in Leicester. Fuck off. No, really, I want to win the game here. Don't you tell me to take a player off. But you can push yourself to this next level. And sometimes football's all about that, finding something that you can jump higher, run quicker, and find it. But if you never push yourself, you'll never get to that. Keep going and keep going and keep going.
I mean, you played till you were 40 in a
Yeah. The funny thing is, I played till 40. I help out at Dundee as a consultant, right? It's a labour of love. I don't get paid. That's where I started my football. I started playing when I was 15. And you got these wee sports science guys who are good at taking water out to people and making sure they've got water at half time. Really? You see them running the pitch at half before you come off. Can they not just wait till you go to the dressing room and drink there? They're running, look what, they're drinking water. They have some more water and they're still shit in the second half. You know what I mean? The funny thing is, I'm 40-year-old, so I get all these wee sports science saying, how are you sleeping? Have you had enough water? Ask me. I played till I was 40. Nobody asked me what you had to do to get that. So you get these sports science now.
Absolutely.
They're telling you can do this. No, I can't. I'm doing this. That's the only way I'm getting better. You sit back there, play with your computer, and I'll do the running.
Absolutely.
It's like Sir Alex Ferguson once. We had one of the young players, he had played about 20 games that season, a boy called Neil Simpson. And this had talked about the mentality of Sir Alex Ferguson. So it was about April, and he said, we're training in the afternoon again. And we were on Acker. We played about 40, 50 games at that point. And the young lad went, I'm tired, I really wanted to. So Archie Knox, who you know is the assistant manager, he went and told Fergie, bush, right through the door, bangs it. Who's feckin' tired in here? Him. So we're all pointing to the kid. Kills him. Kills him. His hair was getting thrown back. Then he walks through it again. We went like that. We're all laughing at him now. And he's come back in the door. I'll tell you when you're feckin' tired. Right. And so plain speaking is good. All that kind of sports science can be. It's handy, But really, how's your sleeping pattern? Really? My wife wants to leave me. I've no money. I can't pay the mortgage. I've been dropped. I'm playing shit. I'm sleeping brilliant, thank you. No, really. Just get on with
But we are digressing slightly.
How's your sleeping pattern? Shit.
But there must be some of the modern things that make sense. Look, you used to have steak and chips at midday before you kicked off at 3.
Oh, there's a lot of
you wouldn't
decent
dream
stuff.
of doing that, would you? Would you?
If it felt right, yeah.
But
I really
there are
don't.
some things
Of
that
course,
make
there's
sense.
some things where it helps. They can advise you where it helps, and they can tell you their expertise, right? But I can remember it young when I was with the gaffer. I would eat a big bowl of pasta before the game. Now I have a bowl of rice pudding and a bowl of Weetabix, and that's me throughout the day. I eat nothing. And it's just how I feel. I think I know my body now.
Your body.
I know the pasta is not going to turn into energy at
Do you know the 12
12
o'clock?
o'clock.
The sports science, everybody, the psychology, they want marginal gains, right? What you have to, there's no point in having marginal gains. You need the majority gains first. That you can run, you can power on, and all the rest of it. These are not going to help you unless you have the big ones. Technique, power, resilience, ability to keep going, fitness. Doesn't help. The water's not going to help you. It wasn't helping George Best when he went for 7 nights. George, have some water before you go on. Right, I'm sober now. Didn't work that way. You know what I mean? Unless you do them, and I'm not being fit, unless you do, all the kids out there, unless you do because I see kids at 14 that he's had a lot of water, he's had his water at breakfast. Doesn't matter. You can't control the feckin' thing. You know what I mean? You have to get the majority stuff right, and then these wee things will help you. That's what happens with the top athletes like Hoy and all that. They run and push themselves, they throw up, they get back on again. So the water and the sleeping and the psychology, they're the small things, but you need the big things first, the majority of things.
Okay, let's get back to kicking the ball with Scotland then. And
I was just enjoying myself.
I'm putting this England team down because
right, have a look at your Scotland
starting
squad.
They're not that bad. You
I'm
don't have to put them down.
not feel so confident as I did.
In all seriousness, if you were presented with this Scotland squad, honestly, how do you think you'll get on? You're the manager of that team. You've just lost Billy Gilmore, who was a fairly important player for Scotland in midfield. They brought in youngster Kyle Fletcher, who's got no real experience at all.
I find that strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another lad, isn't there, called Lennon Miller, who plays in
Italy.
Udinese. He's 19. He's been playing.
He's a wee bit older than that now. Yeah.
But he's been playing.
But we've never seen him. So nobody's seen him and nobody knows what he's done. He's never made any... He's not come with attention, put it that way.
Right. So you've got this Kyle Fletcher in instead of Billy Gilmore. Kyle Fletcher, I think, has played 17 minutes for Man United. So not much experience.
I think that's what Harry was saying. The people are just getting in the international. You have to be at the top of the... I mean, there's other players out there have been doing decent jobs in the Scottish Premier League in midfield, that's for sure, who deserve, in my opinion, to get a shot.
One of the big controversial ones, of course, was McBurney being left out, who, let's be honest, didn't really cut it in the Premier League, but he's been very, very good in the Championship, but Clark doesn't pick him. I don't think he's been picked for about 5 years by Scotland. Do you think you would have picked him?
He's very loyal, and going back to what Kyle was saying about the England squad just now, they have a good way about them. The squad itself mingles brilliantly. When I was in the Scotland squad years ago, you had Celtic, Rangers, Aberdeen players, English players, all at different tables. So, but what Steve's got just now is got that, and he's being loyal to the ones that are taking him there. I can understand that. I really can understand that. Because there's not much to take with the strikers. They're all about the same in there. But you have to have, with the national side, you have to have in the squad everybody, and it's got to be a long time you're away from your family. And I'm not saying all McBurney's like this, but if you have somebody in there who's not happy if they're not getting picked or anything, it spreads through the club. I'm not saying that, but there's sometimes that's what managers see. They want a squad. It might be the same with Tuchel when you're asking about this. He might have thought if I take top players along and they get upset, they're out the same, they might affect the whole squad. It's the same with the Scotland thing. All McBurney, you're probably right, in terms of form, as what Harry's saying, probably deserves to be in there. But Lawrence Shankland, who's just went to Rangers, has been terrific form. You could probably, the other ones, Dykes, Adams, Hurst, he's probably scored the same amount all McBurney, they four.
Yeah, quite.
So he's definitely has an argument to be in the squad. And I think he's one of these players who can annoy other defenders, whoever they're playing against.
Definitely.
He is. He's one of them who's got that stare when he's playing. You know, he's this focus. I don't know if it's a focus or a madness, that he keeps staring at people. But he could definitely upset people. So it is surprising. I did think he would be in the squad. Yeah. I did.
But McTominay is going to be a key for them. I mean, he has...
Well, the key's midfield.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Midfield's got to score goals for us, and midfield's got to defend for us. Because if you take the other two sections and the defenders and attackers, then they dip way below the quality in midfield. So the midfield have got to score goals and they've got to protect the back four at the same time. I know we've got Andy in there and Kieran Tierney.
John McGinn's been outstanding, hasn't he?
John McGinn has
what a
been
good
phenomenal. He has just been such a wonderful player, a wonderful captain. But going back to what I was saying earlier, it's all about people. Nicer guy you can't meet, wants to be a great teammate, wants to drag his teammates along with. I once spoke to Bielsa, and he said to me, Gordon, if I had 11 John McGinns, I'd win the Premier League. He's that good a player. And talking about resilience, he had to come through. He was at St Mirren, nobody was on a free, nobody really wanted to take him. Went to Hibs in the Championship, started playing well there. So he's a lot of knockbacks, which helps to make you who you are today. In life, you need knockbacks, things when you're feeling hopeless. So John's been through all that to where he is today, top player. But as I said, our midfield have to be, if you look at them now, Ryan Christie, 6th in the league with Bournemouth, McTominay, Napoli, John McGinn playing brilliant there, Lewis Ferguson at Bologna. So we've got a couple of young kids in there that are decent as well. But that's it. We have to. Our midfield has to be brilliant.
And defensively and goalkeepers particularly, it's a real struggle, isn't it? Goalkeepers. I mean, one's 43, the other one doesn't play a game in Angus Gunn, does he?
You're correct, which is kind of spooked me a bit.
It's tricky,
yeah.
isn't it? It's poor.
It's not great, is it? Really, when you look at it.
Harry,
Help me, Harry.
Stars.
Help me, Harry. Give me something positive.
Yeah,
Harry.
no, I haven't seen it. I wouldn't be, listen, I know Che Adams, I managed Che for a while. They're good, I don't know enough about them, too.
Kyle, you played against a few. John McGinn.
Yeah, I think John McGinn's been absolutely class. I played against
Fantastic.
Ferguson when I was at AC Milan. Bologna. Obviously, Scott McTominay's gone over there and done really well. But I think, just like Gordon says there, a lot of it comes from the midfield, doesn't it? Robbo's been a great player and a great servant for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Tierney kind of probably didn't work out as well as he wanted to do at Arsenal. But listen, the key part of that Scotland team is the midfield. And I think if they have good games, Scotland will have a good game. But I think it's going to be a tough tournament for them. But, being British, I hope they do well.
The
Slightly.
problem is you have to actually decide if you want to play 3 centre-backs or go with a back 4. Sometimes
You will go with back 4, will he?
I don't know, but it depends who they're playing against.
What will he do
Like,
with
the first
Tierney and
Robertson?
Tierney and Robertson?
Tierney can play centre-half,
Yeah.
left
think he'll play
of
one
a
of
3.
there, yeah.
But Andy's actually better as a full-back. When you probably as a wing-back, you're receiving the ball, looking in the park. As a full-back, you can see everything. So it's a different game altogether.
Sure.
So you get the best out of Andy if you play him as a full-back. That's for sure. So it's probably a back 4 for me, with Tierney being one of the centre-halves, to be honest.
Will he? You wouldn't play Tierney in front, one, or
No.
Ficking up that left side, no.
What I did when I was at Scotland, I played Tierney at right back. So I'm still keeping my 2 best players in the team.
Best players, yeah.
Do you hold out? I mean, there's a fair chance they can get through the group stage, isn't there? Because you can finish 3rd and you can get through the group stage. You always seem to get Brazil. Anytime you do go to the World Cup, you always seem to have to face Brazil, which is a bit hard luck, isn't it?
Yeah, and I played against Harry Redknapp, probably the best Brazil team ever.
Oh my God, it's good teams.
Apart from,
It's quite a game there. You shouldn't have scored for
we
us.
scored
That was a bit
first
dangerous.
and we played Brazil in 1982. Your history lesson for you here, Sam. And I played against the best midfield I've ever seen. Socrates, Falco and Cerezo. Every one of them 6'3", and the smaller ones were Junior and Zico and people like that. They did have one crap player who played up front. It's called Zizinho, remember that big clown?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I got taken off at the same time as him, and we swapped strips. So I've got the worst Brazilian player of all time strip in my house. Probably Serginho's telling everybody in Copacabana Beach that he's got the worst Scottish players all the time. But they were phenomenal.
Yeah.
They were phenomenal. It's not like the Brazil team.
They were, yeah.
They were just phenomenal. How they
Yeah.
didn't win that, they were just
Now
phenomenal.
this team here doesn't. I mean, you know, with Brazil, Richarlison probably playing, is he? And
Yeah, well, to be
you
fair,
know,
when they got any, well, they would have.
wouldn't have
They
got
got
near
them
the
for Serginho.
teams you're talking about. No.
Yeah, so we do get them all the time. But it's a great event. The colour, the noise is phenomenal. It really is good. It's a good day.
And you're doing yourself a little disservice because Gordon did score at the '86 World Cup, didn't you, against Germany?
I did.
And have you ever seen the picture of Gordon scoring that goal where he tries to celebrate and tries to jump over the barrier but gets his legs stuck on the top of the barrier? Was it because you were knackered or you were just too
No,
short?
I was just too small. I couldn't get over it. I'd witnessed players jumping over hoardings, and I thought to myself, I'm going to jump over this hoarding, and it'll be one of the moats they used to get on these stadiums. I would have went and broke my neck. So I just had a wee look over. Too tall for me then. Went back and...
It's quite an iconic photo, that one, though, isn't it? What was it? I know you lost the game, but it is a big thing to score at a World Cup, isn't it?
God, it must be.
It is, but
incredible.
the funny thing about it is when you just go, because everybody in the country's watching you, right? And it's even grannies watch you, and anybody that's never watched, they get sucked into it to watch the game, and it was a great thing that, because no matter what I do in football, when you go about, everybody remembers that. So it's a great thing because you meet fans, and if you leave memories to fans, it's a wonderful thing. So forget the money, forget the medals. If you leave memories, it's great. And going back to what I thought, because all you do when you play for your international side is you want to make your family proud of you, your friends proud of you, everybody's at school with you, anything like that. So when I scored the goal, people say, what do you think? I was thinking about my dad at the golf club. Standing there with his pint in his hand thinking, that's my boy. You know, that's my boy's done that, you know. So that was, when I was walking back, all I could think about was my dad. Strange.
Brilliant.
Strange, but that's what you
Good
get.
dog.
And that's what you get when you play for your country and you do well for your country.
Right, we're going to do a few more interaction with the lads on stage, and then we'll have a bit of a Q&A to round things off. I've decided we want to go back a little bit, because while Harry didn't play internationally, he did, of course, play with some of the greatest players that England have ever had. And he was in the dressing room with Hurst, Moore, Peters. And I can't, the World Cup winners in '66, I cannot imagine what that must have been like when you're a young lad in that dressing room and these superstars come back having won the World Cup and you're about to train for pre-season next year.
It was hard to explain, Shaun. They were just so down to earth. You know, I was just breaking into the team at that time. But, they came back in the World Cup as though back to train. Well done, lads. You know, and they just got on with it. It was like, and you said to them, Bobby was my mate, and I used to say to Mauro, what did you do after the World Cup? How much, what bonus did you get? They got £1,000 a man, But as Gordon said, to win, it wasn't about. And then after the game, what did you do? I bet did you have a great night? No, he said, the wives weren't allowed into the reception, and he said, a couple of us managed to get into Danny LaRue's club. He said, we've got the worst table in the place, next to the toilet. I mean, they've just won the World Cup, you'd think they'd be, but that was it. They just got on with it. They came back, and even coming back from the 1970 World Cup, they came back from there and went straight to join us on tour in America. They didn't come home and have a rest.
Yeah,
they joined up with a team in America to play about 8 games out there. We were representing Baltimore against Tottenham, who were Atlanta, Wolves was someone, Aston Villa was someone else, Kansas City. And they just came and they didn't even have a break. They just came and got on with it and joined up with the team. They never felt tired. It was like, I think Ron Greenwood, when we got back, he gave them a week, then to have, or 10 days he might have given to have before they, so they could just have a few days away with the family. But that was it. They just got on with it.
It's hard to imagine now when you look at '66, because obviously all those players are revered, and probably the longer time goes on without winning, they become even more and more important. But if you ever get a chance to look at any newspapers from back then, for instance, it's not even on the front page. It's on the back page, but it's not on the front page. And it's like, it's almost, the World Cup seems to be so much bigger now than it was then.
Yeah, I mean, the whole country obviously, came alive when England won the World Cup. It was a great time, it was. But yeah, it was, as you say, you didn't get the TV coverage, did you? No. Back in them days, the football was, the match of the day was just, the big match was just coming on ITV, and suddenly you had a live game on the TV. It hadn't been on before. The Saturday night football before that was one game, or the highlights from two games. We never saw any, you didn't see football. The only match that was live on TV back in the day would have been the FA Cup final. That was the only live game when I was growing up, was the FA Cup final. It was the only live match we saw on TV. Now, obviously, it's non-stop, isn't it?
Kyle, you had to live with it as an England player, being told that the last time we won a tournament was 1966. What are you boys going to do about it? And coming so close as you did, 2018, I was there for that semi-final. It felt you kind of had it, and then it went away, because Croatia were an ageing side. They're even more of an ageing side now. How, depressing was it that you didn't get over the line in that semi-final?
No, I would have said depressing. It was just inexperienced.
Yeah.
And we go back to experienced players. I think we scored too early. Trips was a great free kick, and you're kind of thinking it's written in the stars we're going to actually get to a World Cup final here. And I think their quality with Luka, that I had the joy of playing with at Tottenham, and Perisic and Mandzukic, they kind of just come to the floor, and we fell short a little bit on that one.
Did you feel, when you're players, do you feel that pressure from everybody saying, come on, it's 1966, we haven't done anything? Does that affect players at all?
It's always reminded, it's our history of football. It's always reminded, it's always in the back of your head when you do get to a final. Are we going to be the first men's team to go and, lift a trophy at a senior level, for our country? So when you get to the European Championship finals and lose on penalties as we did, that was the hard one for me.
But I always remember that game. We got that far, and it's easy to second guess, but Modric was running the game. Luka was just bang, bang, bang. I didn't know why we didn't go and sit someone on him and try to stop him playing.
Was that talked about?
I think it's trying to sit someone on him as well.
Is
that good? But I do agree with you. But I think that's just inexperience. I think inexperience, and I think Gareth would be. I don't want to offend him by saying this, but I think his first major tournament, and could that be an emphasis of where he could have learned from? But we was all young. We was all learning. It was all, the big pressure was all new to us, and I just think that the occasion with Tripp scoring early kind of took us by surprise a little bit.
Do you feel the pressure from media, fans, or are you in a little bubble where people say they don't read it and that, but you do, don't you? Surely, come on.
I don't read it.
Oh,
I really
must even see the TV.
I see it. I see things from what other people will send me, but I feel in football it's a fickle world, isn't it? One day you're good, one day you're crap, and that's just how it is. And it's about opinions, and everyone's opinion can completely change at any given moment in time. You can play awful and be a 2 out of 10, what some paper will rate you as, and then the next week you're an 8 out of 10. Well, I'm still the same player. I just didn't really have a good game, and the better player on that day won the game. And I think that's what we probably need to appreciate more, is that everyone actually goes out onto the field wanting to be the best player. They want to be the man of the match. But sometimes you just come up against a better player on that day, and you shake their hands at the end of it and move about your business.
So if you have any regrets about your England career, it'll be the 2021 final, will it, as the one that got away rather than that World Cup?
Yeah, 100%. And I think I've said it recently that I wish that I would have stood up and took a penalty.
Well, you've never took a penalty.
No, I would never. So I was very open and honest. I would say, if there's penalties, sub me off, get me out of it.
Why?
I don't want to be involved in it. If it was just me losing the game, I wouldn't mind taking one. But for the lads that have been there for 4 weeks, and especially in COVID, we had Ben Chilwell and I think Mason Mount in isolation in their rooms for days on end because they caught the virus. And they was looking up at us while we're having food downstairs, and they're opening the windows talking to us because they couldn't speak to anyone. And I just kind of thought in that set, I couldn't, and I said at the start of the tournament, I couldn't take one because of the whole nation on my back. I just really couldn't be bothered with it.
But you did it, I looked it up, you did one for your club, you scored one for Man City, your 5th penalty in a Super Cup.
Yeah, but Pep Guardiola told me I had to take it. So like, if I got told I had to take it, I would do that. But if it was my decision, I just feel them lads that stood up, obviously Harry Kane and Harry Maguire, unbelievable, you know. But Jadon Sancho, Bukayo Saka and Marcus Rashford, Saka was 19 at the time. And to put that weight on your shoulders in a European Championship final, at the time, we're all disappointed, of course we are. But the courage that took for him to go and do that says a lot about him as a player, and I think why he's going to achieve what he has done, you know, now in football.
So for you, was it a nerves thing as well?
It's about letting people down. I'd rather not be involved in someone can look at me and say, oh, you missed that penalty. And I wish I would have stood up now and took one just because I was the older one in that group and I should have took the leadership. But it was my decision and it was gave to me. Do I want to take one? And I said no.
Gordon, the last time we had one of these shows, you reminded me you took loads of penalties and you were pretty nerveless about them and you quite liked taking them.
Oh, I don't think you like them, but you kind of trust yourself.
So what is it? What's the technique? Mentally, what have you got to do to make sure you can cope with it? What would you tell Kyle to make sure he coped with it?
Don't worry, it's not happening. I don't want to be involved in it.
No, I went to speak to Kyle about it. Nobody can force anybody taking. I took them, and it's just trusting your ability, and that's all it is, and understanding that you can miss this, and you have to deal with it after it. You go in the automatic pilot if you miss one. I missed 6 my career. Out of 60. So
Not bad.
Can I just remind you, because the last time you
I
asked
did.
me, you asked me if I took penalties. I went, yeah, I did actually. Yeah.
You missed 6?
Yeah.
Good grief.
Yeah. And then I went, as Kyle says, I went a meltdown. I missed 2 in the trot. Then I was the third time. Jasper Olsen, who was a good player at Man United, he said, "I'll take the penalties." I said, "Thank Christ for that, because I've had enough." So we got a penalty within 2 minutes against Everton. I got brought down, and then I said, "There you go." He went, "No, I don't want to take it now." So I had to go and do it, take another one. Now, anybody play golf?
Yep.
You play golf, and you don't get that 3-footer when you start going. If anybody knows about golf, you get that 3-footer. And nobody talks about mental strength. If you don't master something, you have to master your arm. So every time I got a 3-foot putt, I just go, right, I'm okay, I'm okay. Right, and done that. Well, I did that with this penalty. Where you think, right, I've got to put it in the corner down there, and I step away, went, no, and I booted it, and this big puff of smoke come off at Old Trafford, and the ball just kind of trickled out the smoke. It was like a cartoon. To Neville Southall, and just went and picked it up like that. It was an awful penalty. And it's the only time I ever used a psychologist after that. I had to go and speak to a psychologist about penalties. I'd sit there.
That's why
I don't take it.
You did the right thing. You didn't sit like that. You know.
Harry,
The Germans had a psychologist, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they did. Did you? I mean, I don't know how many penalty shootouts you coached or people taking penalties, but what would you say to your players when they were
Well, like Gordon said, trust yourself, make up your mind where you're going to put it. You're accurate strikers of the ball, put it there. And certain people you do look at and think, yeah, I fancy him. I didn't fancy Gabriel the other night.
No.
Fantastic player, great centre half, been brilliant this year for Arsenal. Maybe even man of the match the other day. He's a centre half. He didn't, for me, I don't know. I just didn't fancy a centre half taking a penalty. It didn't. For me, it wasn't.
Do you know that there's another thing? Do you know when we played? And I was a wee bit before Harry. The goalkeepers weren't the same as they were now. The goalkeepers are giants now.
Yeah.
I mean giants. They look like they could tickle the post.
Looks small, doesn't it?
But when we played with wee fat goalies in there, just stick it outside. Because you said, right, I'll just stick it low because that's a wee fat guy, can't get to it. But now they're athletes, and I think, seriously, And now they can get, they seem to be able to get to the corner. I think they're lifting them more now.
Yeah.
To a place up there. It used to be, stick at the corner, you're okay. Not now, you know.
Not now. They
These
guess
guys
right, they
are
save it, don't
They're
they?
6'7" now,
Yeah.
these guys.
Yeah.
They're giants. And the actual, when you see the presence in the goals, they're completely different.
Carl,
from
who
when
was
I
the
was-
best penalty taker we had for England or at club as well that you saw?
I think Harry's got to
Harry
be
Kane.
right up there. Harry Kane right up there. I think Ivan Toney is unbelievable.
Yeah, he's got a unique
He's-
technique.
but
hasn't
I
he?
think that's what they do. The strikers, they just build up a technique that they're comfortable with, and if that works for them,
Rolls
then,
them in.
You know, that's what they do.
Could we just moving on, just about, you've had a massive England career, 96 caps, you played with loads and loads of players. Who do you think was the best player you ever played with for England?
Wayne Rooney.
Undoubtedly.
Oh, that's good, huh?
And why?
I just think you look back and you see what he did at France and against Thuram. And how old was he? 18 maybe. It was ridiculous. And I think for someone to have that amount of courage and doesn't care about what anyone says makes him stand out above the rest. I think, listen, Frank Lampard was great. Steven Gerrard, Ashley Cole I loved being in my position but on the other side. But Wayne Rooney, there was just something in him every day in training. He hated losing. He couldn't stand losing, and he'd do anything. He'd train as he played, and that was just him. And I think he was as much as whatever people want to say about Wayne, he had the right desire on the pitch and the right example for us to follow him in that generation, what we left behind to then go into the new one.
Would he say things to you in the dressing room? Would he get hold of you? I mean, or was it just he did what he did and expected?
I think it's the presence. I think people have a presence and people have an aura about him, and he has one. He has one, and he's a good guy as well. He's a good guy who'll laugh and joke with you, and he's not got an ego or thinks he's above everyone. He's just like you, a working class lad from Liverpool, and he really, really just loved playing football.
And
He's got 4 boys who can play as well.
Yeah,
They can
Kai,
all
the good
play,
Kai's
can't they?
at Man United
One
now,
of
yeah.
just
Yeah.
Man United just
Yeah.
signed a long contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you talked about Harry Kane there, who you've played with a lot for Tottenham and for England. I mean, we've seen him grow. He's probably got better now since he went to Bayern Munich. England are lucky to have him as a striker, and we don't really seem to have anybody who's even close to his level.
I think Harry was one of them ones where you kind of seen him coming up at the lodge as a 15-year-old, and you're looking at him as a little bit overweight, didn't really have, I would say, much. He could finish a ball. That's one thing that he could do, but did you say that he would stand out from the rest of them? They had Andros Townsend was a good player, Tom Carroll. I would say John Obika, I don't know if you can remember him, Gaffer, but these were all probably better players than I would say that Harry was. But Harry just had a work ethic that he went on loan to Leicester, Leighton Orient, Norwich, Millwall.
Carl, I loaned him out. I loaned him out to. I played in a golf day recently up at Turnberry with Barry Hearn. Had a golf day, and he got up at the end and he had a little chat. And he said, "It's lovely to see Harry here." He said, when he was at Tottenham, he said, "I was the owner of Leighton Orient." He said, "I rang him up." He said, "We were bottom of the league," and I said to him, "Have you got any players? We've got no money. Have you got any kids you want to get out and just help us?" You said, "Yeah, I've got 3 kids you can have here. Get them out." He said, "You said to me, it would play them. If they're good enough, it will do them the world of good." He said, "You loaned us Andros Townsend, you loaned us Stephen Corker, and you loaned us Harry Kane." He said, and they came in and we got out of trouble, got up the league. He said at the end of it, if you'd have said, I'd have said, "Well, yeah, Andros Townsend, he'll go back to Tottenham. He could play for Spurs. Stephen Corker was a good, played for England, Stephen.
Yeah.
Stephen Corker, yeah, he'll go back to Tottenham. He could play for Spurs. Harry Kane, not in a million years would he ever be good enough to play for Spurs." They said, "Mate," and that was Barry Hearn. He said, "That shows you what he said, "I shows you what I know about football." He said, I could never believe it.
Did you know him?
No, I thought he'd be a player, but I didn't ever think he'd become the best centre of forward in the world.
What was it that suddenly you thought, blimey, he's really got it now? What happened?
Well, I don't know, he like Kyle said, he practised, he trained, he was determined, wanted to be a player, he worked every day after training, and suddenly it all clicked into gear for him. I think he came on a sub one day where there was an injury, scored and kept in the team because Soldado was injured.
Yeah.
And off he went, got a run, someone believed in him. Confidence, Gordon, is key and all. Someone believed in
It's a good example of everybody says, I need this, I need that, and I didn't get the breaks at this club, or the manager didn't like me, and all that kind of stuff. He's took all the knocks and went to these players. He's determined his career goes. And we talk to the kids, they determine where they go in life. And he's did it by working hard, shutting the noise out, and just continue, because he's probably had a lot of knockbacks, like White Hearn, not very good, this, that, he's maybe no quick it, but he's plugged away with it, and there's nothing better when you see a kid creating their own career and no blaming anybody else. All these clubs he went on, and they're only all successful, no blaming the manager there, no blaming it, not a word from him. And even now, he never says, I had a lot of knock. He had knockbacks, but he just kept going and going and going. Till now, I think he's the best striker England's ever had. I really do believe that. Yeah.
Couple of quick questions before we get the Q&A. Kyle, who's the best player you ever faced internationally, where you stood there and you thought, could be tricky today, this one? Anybody? Did anybody? I mean, we know you're a bit scared of penalties, but I mean, what about facing players?
I always back myself. And people always say like Mbappe or Neymar. I've come against probably the best of my generation, most definitely. The one player that caused me a lot of trouble in an England shirt was Conor Plianka at Ukraine.
Ukrainian.
Yeah, and I was young. I was still learning my trade and everything like that, but I couldn't get near him. And you've got John Terry next to me. I've got Ashley Cole on the other side. I'm saying to Ash, what do I do? And he's like, just smash him on the halfway line. Just smash him and let him know that you're there. Just smash him, let him know you're there, and then maybe he won't get back up. But I couldn't even get near him to smash him. So I'd definitely say as an England career, probably him. But I've had some great battles, and I've really enjoyed, honestly, every one of them. I love playing against the best players, because I think that's when you test yourself as a player as well.
Do you not play against Messi at all?
Thank God he's normally on the other side, and he cuts in on his left foot. Yeah, so keep well away from me.
Who's the best player you have seen internationally? Maybe who played against you or when you were a manager?
Messi, when I was at Celtic, he come on, we were 2-2. We were 1-0 up. Scored. Beating this wonderful, and their midfield was Yaya Toure, Iniesta and Xavi. Had Paul Hartley and Barry Robson in there. And we were 1-0 up, and somebody got injured. I think it was Eto, and the wee fella come on, this wee kid about this size. He's smaller than me, and you never seen anything like this in your life. It was from another planet. I think he's the best player of all time. I generally think he's the best player of all time. I think he scores goals. Ronaldo scores goals, but he doesn't do what this fella does. He makes goals. He leaves you with a beautiful memory every game. There's no many players can leave you with that. They do something else. So, yeah, but going back to that, probably I played against Bobby Charlton when I was a kid. But probably Michel Platini was probably
Bobby Charlton was a fantastic player.
Yeah, but Michel Platini, I played against him, and it was just and probably like Zico in Brazil and these guys. But you think you're actually a half decent player. And then when you get out there against these players, you think, I'm pretty shit, really. You think you're not bad. You got 9 out of 10 in the daily record or something like that. And then you play against real... Because the first time we played against Brazil, I've never seen physiques like this. You stand in the tunnel. It's all right now, you've got these physiques. When you stand in the tunnel, we went for the Brazil team to come in Seville, it's 100 degrees, so you take your strips off. And I was standing beside Alan McLeish. I don't know if you know big Alan McLeish manager. He's pure white with ginger hair. And he's got his top off for all these wee spots and a couple of wee bits of ginger hair. And these guys walk along. And they've got muscles here. They go, have you seen his stomach? Get the doctor to have a look at that, because we've not got that. Big Alec had to slip his strip back on. It didn't look too... But these guys were they're a different planet. When you actually, I don't think players, I think that Harry was talking about last night about your soccer aid, where they think they're no bad.
Yeah.
You don't realise how good these players are now.
Not. Different levels.
They've got the technique, speed, but physical presence. It's incredible.
Different world.
So, I'm going back to your question, I think Platini, And I played against Maradona. Yeah, he was something else, but I didn't like
Fantastic.
him. I didn't like him. He was never in a drug test, that's for sure. Don't worry about that.
Harry, who's the best you saw?
Well, I played against Pele quite a few times. He was fantastic.
Quite a few times?
Yeah, quite a few. Yeah, sort of 6 or 7 times probably.
When you were in
Well,
America?
I played against him when I was at West Ham. We played Santos of Brazil. We man-marked him that night. We had a player try to man-mark him. He got 3 goals. Ron Greenwood put our best marker on him that night. But, you know, I was George Best fan. I thought George was fantastic. George was a genius. I loved him. I loved Bestie. He was.
And you'd be marking him?
No, I couldn't get near him. You know, he was just so good. He was a one-off, wasn't he, George? But he could play Gordon, couldn't he? Hey?
And these guys played in the day where you had to take a tackle at the same time as you passed.
Ankle deep mud.
And on a dodgy pitch.
And people were trying to really hurt you.
Snappy, you know. You see picture. There's one clip where he goes through. Ronnie Harris comes across, tries to snap him in half, and he rides the tackle. He walks round the keeper and rolls it in the net. The mud was like ankle deep, you know. George was an amazing player. Who? Sorry,
Paulo Future.
Oh, Paulo
I think he
Futre.
said, yeah.
Paulo
Number 10.
Futre was a fantastic
Yeah.
player.
But
He
not as good
was
as
an
George Best.
amazing player, Paulo Futre.
Right, last one before we do the Q&A. Who's going to be the star of the tournament and who's going to win it? Kyle.
It's a fair range there.
I'd say Mbappe will be probably the star. Do I think France will win it? I think it comes back to probably what we're saying, if they all can get along. I hope England do well, obviously. I hope England do well, but I think France have got depth in their squad that is really good.
Gordon?
Elise, I like watching him.
Yeah,
I think he's ready to go. And also outside bet for Japan. I think Japan can go.
Japan are dangerous.
I'm telling
Do you know that I did a thing earlier and I said I think Japan will go a long way in the tournament.
Dark horses.
Yeah, tell you.
They could go a long way in the tournament, Japan. I'm going for about a mid-price team. I'd go with Portugal.
Yeah.
Got a lot of good players, whether they can actually do it on the, you know, but certainly you look at the talent, look at the PSG, the players, and you know the Bruno Fernandes had a fantastic season at Man United. They're full of top players, Portugal.
England obviously have it all to do. Right, Q&A time. Where's the microphones? Who wants to ask a question? Lady here.
Could I please get...
Can you just take that?
Thank you. Could I please get your opinion on the ticket pricing scandal that's overshadowing the tournament? Saudi Arabia has recently announced that it will be giving free tickets to its supporters. So my question is, what can we do to support our ordinary supporter out there?
Well, it's been a big thing, this, hasn't it? Ticketing, dynamic pricing, top price tickets. Some of the tickets have been well reported, off the scale, £7,000, £8,000 for finals. And if you're coming from this country, from Scotland, you're flying over there, that's ridiculous. It's more than your flight, it's more than your hotels.
Who decides that? Who?
What? FIFA, and as I say, it goes into dynamic pricing because they think certain matches will sell out. But they're now struggling because they've gone for that and they haven't filled all the stadiums.
Well, the funny thing is, they said it's going to grassroots football. I just thought that's what happened every year. You know, oh, it's going to grassroots football. It's meant to happen all the time. It's nothing new. I bought 4 tickets for the Scotland-Brazil game for my grandson. 560 quid each.
Was it?
I bought them. Do you think I'm going to get the money back from my grandson? No chance. So I'm going to book it right away. 560 quid each. Category 2 tickets. That's no hospitality, anything like that.
Wow.
So it builds up. it definitely
And you
builds.
had preferential treatment in the queue, presumably. You were able to...
Well, being an ex-Scotland manager,
Yeah,
I
you
can
did. But you still had to pay 560 quid a
I had
ticket.
to remind them that I was a Scotland manager at the SFA. But yeah, 560 quid each for 4 kids going to watch a game.
Kyle, I mean, it's a big thing for you to see the fans there and all of that.
And by the way, could Saudi Arabia, because they're stinking rich, not buy tickets for everybody. They're rotten rich.
Does it resonate with you as players that the fans have made a really big sacrifice to come to England games, to pay a lot of money, to get... I mean, some of them, you know, takes weeks off work, days off work just for one away game.
Yeah, it's massive, and obviously it's the hard-earned money that people are going to work for, you know, daily to go and watch your team or your country play football. But who am I? I'm not FIFA. You know, if FIFA are saying that that's right, then I think it's obviously definitely far too much for especially us guys that are coming over from here to then go and support our country. But, you know, that's the way that they're ruling it. And if not, if they was to put them cheap like they do, say, for example, in Germany, where every game is a certain amount of money, people will sell them and then put them on the black market, wouldn't they? So which way around it do you get?
To be fair, they must be selling them because they put that
course.
price up, so
Of
they
course.
get the money.
Yeah, well, that's the way
it's
the
the same with
dynamic
everything
is.
nowadays. You've got to see Bruce Springsteen, he's 600 quid.
Yeah.
Yes. And they
Yeah, but you'd rather watch Scotland than Bruce
I
Springsteen, wouldn't
I
you?
love Bruce Springsteen. They just kept going on about Trump. He'd never shut up for an hour. Just sing the fucking songs. 600 quid. Bruce Springsteen.
Right, who else got a question? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Here.
Once at the club here. An hour. Sitting there like that.
Yeah, good evening. Carl, actually.
Okay.
Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw had 2 amazing seasons for United, injury-free as well, up until, after Christmas. John Stones gets in 5 games. That's a bit outrageous, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, listen, as the gaffer have said about John Stones, I think that he's a tremendous player. John's problem is keeping fit. Now, what you've alluded to there is probably Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw that have probably had the best seasons for Manchester United in a long time and now not at a tournament. I do think Luke Shaw, for me, personally, should have been on the plane, and I do think that Harry Maguire should have been on the plane.
Yeah.
But Dan Burn, okay, has had not a great season, as we've just alluded to at Newcastle, but someone would have to miss out. Now, for me to basically give that opinion now, I don't be fair because they are my friends in the same distance, but I do think that you're right, and I do think that you have a point with both of them as candidates.
One last thing as well. Thomas Tuchel said about chemistry. Now, you look at that, and Morgan Rogers and Ezri Konsa. Chemistry and also winning. That's got to be another recipe for going to a tournament and starting in a major, like first team 11, don't you think, as well?
I think you've got, again, it's a great point, but you've also got other people around, like definitely Morgan Rogers, that are very good players. You put Morgan Rogers in the 3 all, you can stick him on the wing, but you're probably nullifying Saka or Rashford or Gordon, and would you rather have Rogers in the middle? Do you drop Rice or Anderson?
No, Eze.
You drop Eze?
Yeah, Eze, yeah. Morgan Rogers has been superb all season. I mean, only the back end of the season he actually wasn't performing, but that's down to it lack of...
Yeah, I mean, I think Eze is an unbeliever, and I'm obviously City as well, and I'm not too fond of Arsenal at the minute, but I do think Eze, you know, deserves some sort of credit for this season, definitely.
I agree.
Definitely.
Morgan Rogers has won something as well.
Well, let's take out Rashford and Gordon then.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So, sold? Done. We've done it. Easy, innit?
Okay, next. Anybody else? Yes, sir, down here.
Hi, gents. Good to see you all. As a Spurs fan, Kyle and Harry, great to see you. We are Premier League. Right, question about the World Cup format. Do you think there's too many nations now in the tournament that FIFA are asking too much of players?
What do you mean, for tiredness or?
Yeah.
Too many teams.
Yeah.
in
Too many
first of
teams,
all.
yeah. I mean, it's got, you know, it's tougher to get knocked out the group stages now than what it is to qualify. And I think, but yes, I suppose if you're one of the small nations to actually go to a World Cup is amazing, you know, for the country. So, yeah, not good. It don't liven up till later rounds, does it? When the better teams are there anyway. So. I haven't got a strong opinion about it, really.
Is it easy to get motivated when you're in a group where you think, well, we're bound to qualify from this. This will be easy. So we'll worry about things when we get to the knockout stage.
But I think you look at that and it's tournament football. You look at Brazil or Morocco or Scotland and say, okay, we're definitely qualified. It doesn't happen like that. And I think once the World Cup gets a hold of you, anything can happen in a game of 90 minutes of football. So as much as you have to, obviously you're the favourites to qualify in that group, you have to go out and perform, because people haven't just got a ticket to get to the World Cup. They've had to go through tough qualifiers in their respective, countries and whatever they're doing. But obviously you're the favourites, you have to take that as pressure, but you don't get a ticket to just go through to the knockout stages.
We didn't go through tough qualifiers, though, did we? Really?
No, I mean, we've had a plain sailing role, as you can say. It's been pretty easy, but them games when you're going to Macedonia or something like that, they can be hostile. They can be hostile places to go to.
Okay, back there. Who was it put their hand up back there? Over there.
This is specifically for Harry.
Yeah, go on.
It's not too specific, really, is it? It's kind of vague at the moment.
You referenced that Kane was your favourite player of England. What about against Crouchy?
What was up? What? Sorry. What about Crouchy?
He said, do you think Peter Crouch is better playing than Harry Kane? This is one of the worst questions we've ever heard.
No. What was the question?
It was a stupid question. Just move on.
Yeah, no, he's...
But he was a good player as an England striker.
Crouchy was great.
He had a great
Loved
scoring
Crouchy.
record, didn't he?
Crouchy was great, wasn't he?
Yeah, fantastic.
Good
record
player.
as an England striker.
Harry Kane is just amazing.
Yeah. Yes, sir. This one here.
So you've shown the starting 11 for probably the last hour. I don't think that team can go and win the World Cup. Looking at that squad of them starting players that you're showing.
They didn't pick it, by the way. It was a man
No,
it was just an example.
I'm not arguing with you, but I'm saying, of all that team, there's 3 players there that I would pick.
Okay.
Okay, well done.
Right.
Move on.
Do you seriously think?
I'm not the manager.
Hold on.
Boring.
No, listen. You tell me we've got a chance of winning the World Cup.
I haven't said anything.
No, have we? Have we? Is what I'm asking.
Hello?
Where are we?
Kyle
finish?
thinks we've got a chance.
Where will we finish?
I remember my first drink as well.
I don't know.
Where will we finish?
I don't know.
Because that starting lineup is piss poor.
It's not.
It is.
It's not.
It is.
It's not terrible. Anyway, I'll move on. Lady here. Go.
It's more of a general question. What's your opinion on players who have the privilege of playing on an international level and then when they get a higher profile, switch allegiance to another international team? The prime example being Declan Rice.
Is that all right, Harry? Declan Rice grew up playing for Irish youth teams and then decided he was going to play for England.
I don't know whether has he got his parents Irish or both of them.
I think he opted to play for the better team.
He opted to play for England, yes.
He played for the better team. He thought, I'll go and play for it. He qualified, yes, but he qualified for the England side as well.
He must have qualified for England, yeah.
You can go through the youth ranks, then you can switch allegiance. He thought he's got a better chance of winning the World Cup playing for England. So. Yeah, I know, 3 times.
As long as it's a friendly game. The friendly games don't
Friendlies
count.
don't count.
They don't count the friendly games.
But
look,
I understand if you're Irish.
You've got to remember that it's what you feel. We have a couple of guys who, when they come to Scotland, weren't born in Scotland. But if you feel Scottish, and you want to be Scottish, and you like Scotland, then you want to play for Scotland. Maybe Declan Rice is the same. He likes the people he's grown up with. he feels more English now than he did when he was 15 or 16. Probably that's why he's decided to move on. You have to feel it. If he feels English, then it doesn't.
Last question. Anybody? Right. This man here. He's beaten you to it, this fella.
Hi guys. A general question. We've all watched England football for a long, long time over the years. We've had some great managers in the Premiership. We've had some great managers for England. We look at those players and those managers. Who is your favourite?
Favourite what?
Favourite manager. Like, who brought more growth to English football? Without even... So Pep Guardiola, in the Premiership, brought massive amounts.
Right, Kyle, your favourite manager ever?
The gaffer.
Gordon, your favourite manager? I bet it's not Alex Ferguson.
Oh, it is.
It is?
Yeah.
Well, you clash with him all the time.
All the time. It doesn't matter. He helped me have the career I had. He's helped me to get to places I never thought I'd get. He pushed me, bullied me, but I didn't think it was bullying. I just thought he was trying to get the best out of me. And I wouldn't have missed it for the world. His record stands up with anybody, because he actually took Aberdeen with a team that was under 27 and under to beat Real Madrid in the European final, then won the Super Cup, become the #1 team in Europe with just Scottish players. That is absolutely phenomenal.
But you had a feisty relationship, didn't you?
We had an incredible relationship. We didn't speak for a while. We kind of nodded to each other. And any time that we played, where I was Coventry Southampton manager, Celtic manager, it didn't matter who it was, he just wanted to batter me, hammer me, because we had that kind of relationship. We're okay now.
All right.
It's quite funny now. We sit and talk about things and how he got rid of me at Man United, and I told him how he got rid of me. Oh, I never did that. I said, you did. I'm not telling you what happened, but it was hilarious. 20 years further on. But honestly, he was something else. He was a force of nature.
Yeah.
And then to grab Man United and make them the club they are. But his power was anger. He worked on anger.
Harry, best manager?
Well, I played with Ron Greenwood for, he was a fantastic manager, great, so far ahead of his time as a manager, incredible football coach. And, so many managers came through.
And you learned from him?
We all learned from him. Every day was, Jeff Hurst. You look at Hurst, he gets 3 goals in the World Cup final, but he spent so much time with Hurst, appreciating attacking near post space, pulling away, leaving the space you want to attack, getting across defenders. Martin Peters the same. He would have spent lots of time with Martin and his movement, arriving in the box, and just a teacher. He was a teacher, great football. He was a footballer. He played as well in his time. But he was a fantastic coach.
Very good. Not sure Pep's going to be too happy with you.
No, Pep's top man. I mean,
no, of course.
My God, Pep is top man.
Yeah, absolutely.
What he's achieved, my God.
Okay, that's it. Please put your hands together for Harry Redknapp, Gordon Strachan, Kyle Walker. Thanks for coming. Hope you've enjoyed your night.
Well done, boys. Thank you, Tom.